Hello everyone. This is our new, irregular show, Crypto Not For Dummies. It's me, Mr. Etherman, and my friend Dr. Smartcontract. Let's go.
What are the risks of P2P platforms?
Most likely, the biggest risk on a P2P platform is to get yourself in a so-called triangle. There is a person who sells, a person who buys, and a deceived person. The person thinks he pays for goods, so he sends money to a cryptocurrency trader. The scammer receives crypto, and that's how the triangle appears. To avoid triangles on a P2P platform, you need to ask people for even the slightest sign of verification, so that they either make a transfer with an ID of the deal, or ask them for the card verification so that they make a photo of their card on the background of the request. These are some minimal security requirements. Or if a P2P platform implies that there is an opportunity to trade both with KYC and without KYC, then try to work with users who have KYC, because then it will be possible to file an appeal and win this appeal in case of any difficulty.
Yes, it is worth explaining what KYC is, know your customer. This is, essentially, verification on the platform. Sometimes it is possible to trade on platforms without verification. In this case, it is not clear who encounters
There are more risks.
Yes, there are more risks. It is not clear at all to whom one should bring a claim for losses.
Any claims.
And if there is KYC, then the relationships of one individual with another individual are known. It makes life much easier in case of anything. There may be drops or fishy characters, so you should always play it safe.
Watch out, trade carefully.
And, by the way, it's probably worth mentioning a common thing on a well-known P2P platform where there is more social engineering. When people start to contact you, meaning that there is, let's say, a buyer, there is a seller, and they communicate via chat, then the one who sells begins to convince the buyer in every possible way that the buyer needs to accept a deal. But it's more about social engineering.
Or he suggests moving the deal to Telegram, saying there is a commission on a P2P platform, so let's move to Telegram, where you can see my nickname, you can see me, and, thereby, he tries to engage the victim in their so-called playing field. They try to commit fraud, because if you make a deal in Telegram, without any escrow, nobody will defend your rights. You wanted to save some money, and you could lose all your assets, so to speak.
Yes, nothing regulates the deal. In fact, in terms of legislation, you just took and voluntarily sent your money to a certain person. So no one will be responsible in this case.
How to make money on P2P platforms?
It's a good question.
A very good question. You can often make money since there is a certain rate between an exchange and a P2P platform, because the exchange has standard fees for the deposit and withdrawal of fiat funds, so when we visit a P2P platform, no one pays any fee, except, possibly, for a commission per order, which is often around 0.1% in comparison to commissions for fiat, which averages 2 to 3%. This is, in fact, additional income that P2P traders can get since they exchange directly, that is, from one bank account or payment system to another one. Respectively, they don't pay any commission. Based on this, a small delta appears. And if there is a quite large turnover, it becomes a tasty morsel.
In other words, you have a cryptocurrency asset and, for example, you sold it for Tether. You want to withdraw this Tether, and the commission for the exchange withdrawal, as mentioned before, amounts to about 2 to 3%, but you can go to P2P, and through that P2P withdraw your funds with a much smaller percentage. That's one point. The second point is, let's say, an arbitrage. Since this is also a market, an offer of a certain asset appears there. An asset at a good price, at a discount. You take it likewise and sell it on a P2P platform, like on any other.
Yes, you buy bitcoins on a P2P platform, transfer them to an exchange and sell them. So, if there is a fork, a gap, then you earn. If there isn't, then you don't earn.
There are local markets, there are local currencies, and therefore this creates the opportunity for arbitrage. With the global market and with the local market, where the conditions could be much more attractive like,
for example, in Nigeria, whenever you want to buy cryptocurrencies, you have to pay about 10% extra for it. When you want to sell cryptocurrencies, you sell it 1-to-1 at the market rate. plus a lot of local currencies, which are very unstable and volatile, which can make increase by 5% in a day caused by a very high inflation. Because of this, a lot of people in such countries want to trade away fiat currency and receive cryptocurrency because it gives some stability. If we talk about USDT, then the demand exceeds the supply, a relatively high level of surcharges is formed, and those people who find a way to circulate these funds much more profitably will make pretty good money.
Name the disadvantages of P2P platforms.
Well, probably one of the disadvantages of P2P platforms is that, most likely, when it comes to trading Bitcoin on a P2P platform, it's more difficult to hedge your risks. Well, let's imagine such a case. Today we have a price of $20,000 for one Bitcoin. If we put it on a P2P platform, open a sell order, that is, we sell Bitcoins for fiat currency, let's say. We put our order and, for example, tomorrow the price is $22,000. Everything is cool, everything is great, we are in the black. But if the day after tomorrow the price is $18,000 for one Bitcoin, we are, therefore, in the red. At the P2P platforms, this lack of possibilities to hedge your risks is a disadvantage. That is, if an asset turnover on a P2P platform is not very high, you run the risk of getting hit by exchange rate losses. This is probably one of the big disadvantages of P2P platforms.
Well, I should probably add that there is a lot of room for maneuver in terms of scammers on P2P platforms, and if you're not attentive and you don't know the process of how a deal should be done very well, or you don't know some of the nuances of financial legislation, you may get into trouble. Plus, it's probably worth mentioning that this is still, let's say, a gray area. You might get investigated by a financial or some similar supervisory authorities, and they can be a real headache for you. And it's all very individual how you will solve it, but this probability exists, and you have to keep that in mind. Unfortunately, the legislation of cryptocurrency isn't perfect yet, and not all cases are described properly.
And worked out.
Yes, they aren't worked out and described in a regular way, so there is definitely a risk.
So, even though a P2P platform acts as a guarantor, you should never relax, because someone may want to seize your money as soon as you relax.
Yes, in some tricky or not so tricky way. So this was me, Mr. Etherman.
And me, Dr. Smartcontract.
This was our episode of the irregular show, Crypto Not For Dummies. Subscribe, ring the bell, and hit the like button. See you later, non-dummies friends.